detected a mysterious object speeding toward Earth, and some actual bona fide experts think it might not be your typical space rock or maybe any kind.
Scientists just decoded a mysterious alien signal from deep space, and what they found might mean humanity has only 23 days left. For months, the 3I/ATLAS probe has sent strange electromagnetic signals no one could decode. But now AI has cracked them, and the truth is more terrifying than anyone expected.
Any more of a clue as to what this thing is or is not?
Still waiting for NASA to release an image, the highest resolution image with 30 kilometers per pixel. We are seeing the anti-tail, opposite to what we see in the context of comets, and now changing direction. We see some unusual composition of nickel with very little iron that we only find in industrially produced nickel alloys. If it happens to do a maneuver when it comes close to the sun, the way spacecraft do, using gravitational assist from the sun.
Because if it does a maneuver around the sun, that would show it's not a natural object, right?
Because it could be a black swan event where something that looks natural at first ends up being like a Trojan horse,
Good morning, space fans.
It began as a whisper from the void, faint, rhythmic, deliberate. The 3I/ATLAS probe, stationed beyond Neptune's orbit, detected something that didn't match any known cosmic pattern. These weren't random pulses or natural radio bursts. They carried structure, a mathematical symmetry impossible to mistake for noise. For weeks, scientists tried everything. Linguists mapped syllabic patterns. Cryptographers broke the data into frequency trees. Physicists compared it to quasars and pulsars. Nothing fit. The signal was intelligent, layered with repeating fractal codes far beyond human comprehension. Desperate for answers, researchers turned to artificial intelligence, a pattern recognition network built to find order where humans saw chaos. It ran billions of iterations per second, aligning data like cosmic fingerprints. And then, without warning, the AI stopped. The room went silent. A single phrase appeared on the monitor, a message not from Earth, but to Earth. When the AI finally translated the signal, the message it revealed wasn't a greeting, it was surveillance. A data stream so precise, so methodical, that it could only be described as an intelligence report. The probe had been broadcasting information about us. Line by line, it cataloged everything. Atmospheric composition, temperature fluctuations, ocean salinity, magnetic field shifts. Even detailed statistics on population density, military positioning, and global energy reserves. Someone or something was gathering a complete snapshot of Earth's status. But it wasn't stopping there. The AI traced the outgoing packets of information and found they weren't looping back to our satellites. They were being relayed further, deep into interstellar space, aimed at a point no telescope could see. Whatever was listening wasn't human. And the worst part? The transmission hadn't just begun recently. It had been active for months, possibly years, quietly feeding data to an unknown recipient. The probe wasn't reporting to us, it was reporting on us. Buried beneath the layers of data, the AI uncovered something stranger. A numerical pattern that initially made no sense. It wasn't part of the information on Earth's systems. It was something separate, a sequence that decreased slightly every time the transmission repeated, a timer. Scientists at first thought it was a calibration cycle, but the numbers ticked downward with chilling precision, synchronized to universal atomic time. After isolating the code, the AI confirmed what no one wanted to believe. It was a countdown. When projected forward, the final zero aligned with an astronomical event. The exact moment when the 3I/ATLAS probe would make its closest approach to Earth. Just 2.8 million miles away, 23 days from now. What happens when it reaches zero remains a mystery, but the data points suggest a trigger, a signal burst or release event of unknown energy type. Every expert reviewing it agrees on one thing. This isn't a coincidence. Someone built that countdown, and they're watching it end. The AI didn't translate words, it recognized structure. The signal wasn't written in any known language. It was built on universal mathematics, the kind that transcends species and syntax. The system detected 3 distinct layers of encoding, each deeper and more complex than the last. The first was mathematical, a framework of constants like pi, the golden ratio, and hydrogen frequency markers, establishing a shared baseline for intelligent interpretation. The second layer was visual, pixel-like data arrays that, when reconstructed, revealed planetary maps of Earth. The outlines were unmistakable. Continents, oceans, even the luminous clusters of our cities at night. But it was the third layer that stunned researchers. Multidimensional data describing atmospheric balance, thermal signatures, and a detailed analysis of Earth's military infrastructure. The further the AI went, the more it realized. This wasn't random observation. Atlas wasn't just listening, it was learning, categorizing every measurable aspect of human civilization as though preparing for something far beyond simple curiosity. The more scientists examined the decoded layers, the clearer it became. A TLAS knows everything. Its atmospheric readings matched Earth's most advanced satellites, accurate to within parts per billion. Carbon dioxide fluctuations, methane concentrations, and even traces of rare isotopes were perfectly logged. It charted mineral belts deep beneath the crust, mapped untapped oil and gas reserves, and outlined freshwater systems that human engineers had yet to discover. Every resource, every vulnerability, cataloged with chilling precision. Then came the human data. Using electromagnetic emissions, ATLAS pinpointed cities, communication networks, and even high-density civilian areas. It had identified agricultural regions, industrial hubs, and shipping lanes across every ocean. But that wasn't all. Within the third data layer were schematics of our orbital assets, satellites, defense arrays, and the International Space Station. Each was listed with energy outputs and operational frequencies, as if the probe was assessing potential threats. By the time the AI finished processing, its conclusion was undeniable. Atlas wasn't exploring space for knowledge or peace. It was performing reconnaissance, a systematic, calculated study of a planet it already deemed significant, or perhaps targeted.
Well, thanks for having me. We don't know the answer to that, and we better observe it, because aside from the anti-tail turning to a tail, which could have a natural origin, I actually wrote 2 scientific papers trying to explain it.
It didn't take long for scientists to realize the signal wasn't static. The AI noticed that Atlas's transmissions changed, constantly evolving, reflecting new information about Earth in real time. When cities across Asia surged in energy consumption during heat waves, the next data burst showed precise power grid fluctuations. When political unrest spiked in Europe, electromagnetic signatures from communication networks appeared updated within hours. Even more alarming, when Earth military satellites shifted orbit, Atlas's logs changed accordingly, recalibrating its maps to track those new positions. This wasn't passive recording, it was live surveillance. Each update confirmed that ATLAS wasn't simply transmitting stored data, it was observing. Watching the planet's every move, cataloging every pattern, and refining its understanding of human behavior with unnerving accuracy. The frequency intervals were even adjusted to global events, as though the probe could anticipate what mattered most. Something or someone was using ATLAS as a living lens to watch us in real time. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Deep within the signal structure, the AI detected something that shouldn't exist: a handshake protocol. It wasn't broadcasting into space, it was communicating. The timing delays between outbound and inbound signals suggested that Atlas was receiving replies from deep space. Each response arrived hours or days later, depending on distance, and every time the probe reacted. After each reply, its trajectory shifted minutely, its transmission frequency adjusted, and its data output evolved. The message was clear: someone was giving it orders. This wasn't an autonomous probe operating on pre-programmed routines. It was being managed remotely, recalibrated in real time by whoever launched it. The AI tracked dozens of such exchanges, a pattern consistent with active coordination. That meant two things. First, Atlas wasn't alone. Second, the conversation hadn't ended. It was ongoing. And if the countdown embedded within the signal was tied to that dialogue, then something or someone was preparing to make their next move.
ExoMars orbiter, what stands out to you? Any surprises here?
As the AI dug deeper into the encrypted layers, it uncovered something beyond comprehension. Raw computational models, vast and intricate, describing energy expenditures on an astronomical scale. These weren't the kind of numbers associated with satellites or even advanced propulsion systems. They represented the movement of trillions of tons of mass across interstellar distances, coordinated, deliberate, and repeating in cycles. The decoded equations hinted at energy yields millions of times greater than any human technology could achieve, suggesting propulsion fields or gravitational manipulation far beyond our understanding. Even more disturbing, embedded within those calculations were references to positional triangulations, as if ATLAS wasn't operating alone, but in concert with other entities. The AI cross-referenced the data and produced a chilling estimate. There was a 67% probability that Atlas was part of a larger network, a fleet. If true, then the probe orbiting beyond Neptune wasn't an isolated explorer. It was one node in a system spanning light years, all feeding information toward a single, unseen intelligence. Once the analysis stabilized, the AI presented its probability matrix, a cold, emotionless summary of everything it had learned. 78%. Atlas serves as reconnaissance for a larger mission. Its data-gathering precision, resource mapping, and behavioral analysis of humanity all point to pre-deployment intelligence. 67%. It belongs to a coordinated fleet or distributed system, each node feeding into a central intelligence. 54%. The countdown isn't random. It is synchronization for a major event, possibly a signal alignment or activation sequence. 43%. Data patterns suggest resource extraction or planetary engineering, something that could drastically alter Earth's environment. 31%. The intent could be purely observational, though the scale and secrecy argue otherwise. 28%. There remains a chance, however small, that this is a cautious attempt at first contact, one grounded in extreme technological asymmetry. But what frightened scientists most was the remainder. 18% of Atlas's transmission data remains unclassified, strings of logic and symbols the AI couldn't interpret, not because of complexity, but because the concepts themselves didn't fit within human mathematics or known physics. In short, ATLAS might be communicating ideas that humanity simply isn't capable of understanding yet. Even the most advanced decoding models hit a wall. The AI recognized that some segments of Atlas's transmission contained meaning, structure, rhythm, intent, yet remained incomprehensible. It was as if the message existed in dimensions beyond linguistic or mathematical logic. A senior researcher described it perfectly. It's like a child recognizing an equation, but not understanding what it means. The AI flagged these sections as priority unknowns, strings that resisted translation, yet triggered internal urgency alerts within its own algorithms. Based on data patterns, the AI concluded that these segments likely held the probe's true directives, mission-level commands sent from whoever built it. Every pulse followed a perfect cadence, repeating every 72 hours with no deviation. Whatever Atlas was doing, it was following a plan, deliberate, synchronized, and unbroken. The untranslatable sections might not be meant for us at all, but for others like it. And if that's true, then humanity is merely eavesdropping on an operation far larger than we can imagine. The discovery tore the scientific community in half. Some argued we must respond, to prove intelligence, to seek understanding, to show that Earth is capable of dialogue. Others called that suicidal. If Atlas's handlers are watching, any reply could expose our decoding ability, confirm our awareness, and pinpoint the exact source of transmission. Governments remain divided. Defense agencies warn of existential danger. if the signal's origin interprets a reply as aggression or invitation. Diplomatic circles argue that silence may be seen as defiance. Behind closed doors, international summits debate a single question: disclose this to the world or bury it in secrecy? No answer is safe. Every option, silence, communication, or preemptive defense, could lead to disaster. And as the countdown continues to fall, 23 days are all that remain before humanity discovers whether its first contact will be one of peace or its final mistake. As news of the decoded signal quietly leaked through scientific circles, the world began to shift. Financial markets reacted first. Gold prices surged, investors fled volatile assets, and global bond markets dipped. Whispers of an extraterrestrial countdown spread through encrypted forms. Governments denied everything, but the silence only fueled the panic. Religious leaders across faiths issued statements calling for unity, prayer, and preparation for what many saw as a coming revelation or reckoning. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers began coordinating online countdown vigils, tracking ATLAS's faint light as it moved across the edge of the solar system. Some treated it like an apocalypse, others like a miracle. Inside military command centers, global powers activated their contingency protocols. Space defense systems recalibrated. Emergency contact networks linked the UN, NASA, and ESA under quiet urgency. Yet despite all the preparation, no one knew what to prepare for. The transmissions kept evolving, faster, denser, more precise, as if the probe itself sensed the attention. And as humanity stared toward the stars, every screen, telescope, and radar across the planet was fixed on a single unanswerable question: what will happen when the countdown reaches zero? In the final days, the AI's readings became erratic, not because of a malfunction, but because Atlas's transmissions were changing faster than any system could process. Data density spiked, electromagnetic amplitude surged, and the signal frequency narrowed toward a single, coherent tone. Whatever it was building toward, it was accelerating. The AI calculated that Atlas would reach its optimal observation distance at the exact moment the countdown hit zero, 2.8 million miles from Earth, directly aligned with our magnetic poles. Every model, every trace analysis pointed to a single outcome: a critical event. No one knows if it means transmission, transformation, or termination. But one thing is certain: ATLAS is not random. Its purpose is nearing completion, and the clock refuses to stop. Humanity waits beneath a silent sky, counting the days, the hours, the seconds, hoping that when the countdown ends, it will mark not our destruction, but our understanding.
Has a much bigger mirror, 2.4 meters in diameter, whereas this camera that was used on ExoMars is much smaller, and as a result, it kept the low surface brightness in the envelope surrounding the core of...
Even now, scientists can't agree on what ATLAS truly represents. Some cling to hope that it's a probe of peaceful intent, gathering data to understand life beyond its own world. Others fear a darker reality, that every transmission, every update, is reconnaissance for something approaching. Its precision, coordination, and purpose-driven design defy anything humanity has ever encountered. The intelligence behind it doesn't just observe, it strategizes, it learns. The untranslatable data may hold the key. Fragments of science or events so advanced our species can't yet comprehend them. Concepts beyond language, beyond mathematics, perhaps even beyond time itself. The AI's final assessment was clear. The tone of every message carried urgency, definitive, mission critical. This wasn't idle communication, it was preparation. And with just 23 days left on the countdown, there's no longer time for theories or denial. Atlas knows us intimately, completely, and whatever it came to do, it's already begun. As the countdown ticks closer to zero, humanity stands on the edge of discovery or destruction. Whatever Atlas came to do, it's already in motion, When the final signal arrives, we'll find out whether it marks our first conversation with the stars or our last. Like, share, and subscribe for more.